The opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of this network, their group, or other organization they may be involved with.
I'm looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of Tuesday evening news. Tuesday evening
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Psychedelic Reporters for this Tuesday, October 22nd, episode 131, here on NOK Network, the video news podcast focused on psychedelic medicine being reported in mainstream media. Shout out to the guys in Den Ringer, for Kirkland Lake, Ontario, for the awesome intro track, originally recorded by the Moody Blues for some customized changes for our show. I am joined by my amazing joint host, Tara Simpson, along with the one and only Bufo Various, who has chosen all of our stories for us. Hello, Tara.
Hello, hobbies, and hello, everyone. Great to be back after another fantastic week. I'd like to take a minute to introduce Bufo. He is our Sonoran desert toad, or Colorado mud toad. Did you know he emits DMT from his skin? And while that sounds like great fun, park rangers would like to remind everyone, please don't lick that toad.
Holy cow! That was it. Okay, thank you for joining. Woo!
Hilarious.
Oh man, oh gosh. So I don't know if you guys have been watching Psychedelic Reporters in the past couple weeks, but we have been taking a integration process coming from the tripsitters.org. Integration is a beautiful thing. This week, we continue that trip on the mind. How do you feel about integration so far?
I think it's such an important process that anyone using a psychedelic for healing modality needs to do. Again, you can't just take some psychedelics and miraculously be better. You need to learn from what the process in your brain is happening, the thoughts, all of that's so important, and to take that time to understand what it all means.
Yeah, and this comes chapter 4, the mind. Keep the mind open.
Mm-hmm. Our psychedelic journey can help us return to a more curious, childlike state. Coming to terms with how much we don't know can inspire us to learn more about ourselves and the world. Gandhi says, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. When we approach life with a beginner's mind, possibilities and opportunities abound. So meditation. The ultimate aim of meditation is to develop awareness, calm, and insight. To practice meditation means to be present with feelings, thoughts, and breathe without attachment, judgment, or reaction. Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese Zen master, says, feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. Meditation trains us to focus on solace, not in temporary pleasures, but in the peace, joy, and freedom that arises from letting go and abiding in the present moment. Meditation is often encouraged as a core practice for enlightenment and self realization. It can simultaneously elevate individual and collective consciousness. The practice may also reduce stress, anxiety, depression, or pain, and increase peace, perception, self concept, and well being. The key is to wake up and become more alert and more inquisitive and curious about ourselves. And that was a quote by Pem Chodron. Integrating a regular practice, a few minutes a day, into one's daily life, rather than practicing in spurts, 2-hour sessions once a month, is best. Consistency leads to the best results, and we can help us adapt to the process more seamlessly. If you haven't already, starting a meditation practice as soon as possible is wise. The practice trains one to observe one's experience. It loosens the grip of ego and consciousness mind over the whole personality. It trains one to sit in the uncomfortable and unknown and to accept each experience as it is, not how one wants it to be. These attitudes are valuable to cultivate before, during, and after the psychedelic experience, often bringing up uncomfortable and unpalatable truths.
Meditation can also prevent psychosomatic symptoms of resistance such as nausea or panic attacks. Oh, what the heck's a panic attack? And provide a smoother experience. Long-term meditation increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, meaning the conscious mind will be more likely to remember the experience and understand how to make sensible decisions afterwards. Anybody can practice meditation regardless of one's belief. Pema Chodron remarks, meditation is a process of lightening up, trusting the basic goodness of what we have and who we are, and of realizing that any wisdom that exists in what we already have. We can lead our life as to become more awake to who we are and what we're doing rather than trying to improve or change or get rid of who we are or what we're doing. The key is to wake up or become more alert, more inquisitive, curious about ourselves. The practice isn't about becoming other than what we are. Instead, it's about being content and open minded. Some people think meditation is about stopping and getting rid of thoughts. However, it's more accepting and opening to whatever arises. Can we open to and feel even the resistance? As you can imagine, there are countless meditation techniques and themes. Some examples of methods are body scan, vipassana, breath awareness, and loving kindness meditation. Meditation can be practiced alone or in a group, in silence or with audio guidance. Trying different methods and feeling what suits you best can be helpful. Once you can find a teacher or technique you resonate with, it's advisable to stick with this one for some time and continually searching for a better one. Wow, that
Mm-hmm.
was deep.
Yeah. Having a teacher or guide, either in person or through different technological means, instruct us when we are starting is essential. The person can help us avoid common pitfalls and accelerate our progress. As the Buddha teaches, spiritual friendship is not half the spiritual life, it's the entire spiritual life. The Dhammapada states, if you find a wise person who points out your faults and corrects you, you should follow the sage as you would a revealer of treasures. It is It is better, never worse, to follow a sage. Here are a few resources you may find helpful as you start to explore, along with a basic guide. And it looks like there's some links there um, for different meditation practices that you can click on. Learn and explore. We may encounter beings, insights, or messages on our journeys that spark a desire to dive into various topics such as history, ecology, religion, philosophy, politics, rituals, spirit, symbolism, magic, plant medicine, therapy, psychology, or indigenous cultures. We may feel moved to read books, watch movies, listen to podcasts, attend workshops, or enroll in courses. We can learn through various forms of expression: cooking, dancing, painting, singing, or writing. There are many ways to expand knowledge of our interests and passions. Focusing on the highest vision can help us think better and feel connected to that which is greater than ourselves. A commitment to lifelong learning trains the mind to be open, flexible, and curious. It allows us to question our assumptions and consider others' perspectives. By educating ourselves, we can fulfill a natural desire to grow and expand our understanding. Learning can bring joy and play into our lives while increasing self-motivation and self-confidence by giving us new skills and knowledge. We are free to experiment with our learning process. There is no right or wrong. A few questions you may want to ask we may want to ask ourselves as we explore what and how we want to learn. What are my interests and goals? What am I passionate about? How do I envision my future? What would I like to learn about or be able to do? How would I want to be involved in the learning, and what resources are available? How do I structure my learning goals in my life? By being resourceful, we can become highly educated quickly at a minimal cost. Here is a list of 20 places to educate ourselves online for free, and there's the link there.
Ooh, vision boarding. Our minds respond to visual stimulation. So imagining, creating the images of desired lifestyle allows us to move our lives in a positive direction. Visualization works. Successful people in every field use various visualization techniques to bring their ideas and intentions to fruition, where attention and attention flow, energy goes. A vision board is a collage of words and images that inspire us to be happy, think bigger, and feel motivated and connected. This collection presents our goals, dreams, and wholesome feelings we wish to cultivate. When we give the subconscious mind reminders of our bigger vision, the mind looks for ways to bring the vision to fruition. In essence, the vision board allows us to practice visualization every time we look at or think about it. When we see our dreams in front of us, we become more motivated to do the things we need to manifest them. Focusing on the highest vision can help us think bigger and feel connected that which is greater than ourselves. Seeing our goals in front of us to keep us aligned in thoughts and actions with our deepest desires. There are many ways to create a vision board. We can use magazine cutouts, favorite quotes, drawings, and words. Our vision board should help us feel good about ourselves and in our life direction. Emotions are vibrational energy that activates the law of attraction, committing our emotional focus on our dreams, and even when they feel out of reach, can help us feel like we have already achieved them. The Book of Secret affirms, and there is a link, the law of attraction is forming your entire life experience, and it is doing through your thoughts. When you are visualizing, you are emitting a powerful frequency into the universe. As we practice training our body and our mind to be joyful and believe in ourselves and our goals, no matter what, we believe in our dreams and are more attainable than we thought. We become happier and healthier, and by allowing a vision board to shift our mindset to be more positive and open to possibility. Learn about vision boarding here, here, and here. Oh, those are links.
Yeah. Awesome. That was a
Uh,
great article.
yeah, next week is the heart, man. So stay tuned to our different weeks and everything. This is a great idea that Bufos took us on.
Absolutely. It allows us to cover longer, more in depth articles and resources by making you wait each week for the next chapter. And then we still get to cover it and have those meaningful discussions.
So our next article comes right out of Wired.com. And I like the Wired articles because they kind of cover both sides. And this article is psychedelic mushrooms are getting much stronger. Cultivators are turning to genetic sequencing and cellular manipulation techniques to breed highly potent mushrooms, leaving unprepared psychonauts in distress. And this was written by. It doesn't say.
No, it doesn't. But again, we know that the mushrooms can vary in potency as it is, strain to strain. So this is an interesting article. Earlier this year, Julian Matusi, also known as God Emperor Maiko, was creating new generations of spores from some Syllabaceae subtropicus mushrooms that he had procured online from a popular supplier. He claims to have not been working them for potency, but rather to arrive at a cleaner, more robust genetic structure that fixes issues caused by sustained inbreeding. Oh, okay, they're inbreeding things. Cool. Common in a field that has long been run by amateurs. Inbreeding too much and mushrooms can lack the general health, produce lesser yields, and sometimes be lower strength. After 3 cultivation cycles, the self-taught mycologist who runs the Colorado-based psychedelic research company Imperial Labs decided it was time to try what he had produced. An experienced psychonaut, he was astonished. It floored me. I've never been hit by mushrooms like that, Matusi says. He consumed them fresh in a dose that would have been equivalent to no more than 1.5 grams of dried fungi, which is significantly below the generally required to break through, but have a significant trip. I knew that they had to be really powerful because I couldn't get out of my bed for about 3 to 4 hours. And the first hour or two felt like a DMT experience. Oh, wow.
It's the type of super strong mushroom trip that people are increasingly reporting. New cultivation methods are making psychedelic mushrooms stronger and fiendlessly potent varieties are kicking in faster and lasting longer, even if you eat only a fraction of what you would with another variety. Subsequent testing showed that one batch of Matucci's mushroom contained almost 5% psychedelic alkaloids, which was unheard of within the psilocybe genus. Typically, mushrooms contain 1% of these psychoactive compounds, although species like psilocybe and xerosins are generally stronger, and some varieties with the Pannoleus genus are even more potent. Psilocybe cubensis mushrooms, one of these species most commonly consumed, are among the most heavily inbred due to the imperfect methods used by hobbyist cultivators, who have propagated them over the decades since the first spore prints returned from the Amazon in early 1970s, courtesy of McKenna Brothers. But as the mushroom growing scene steps out of the underground and professionalizes somewhat, even though the psilocybin prohibition continues across most of the world, more and more mycologists are using informed breeding practices to enhance the fungi's genetic integrity, improve potency, which can be a recessive trait and become lost with a lineage. I would argue that the current Mount Everest's highest potency, milligrams per grams of biomass, says Ian Bullinger, the founder of Center for Mycological Analysis. What? Mycologi- mycologi- mycological?
Mycological. Yep.
Yeah, mycological and analytics. Oh, analytics. That is a mountain people are going to climb, whether we tell them or not. But Tucci, though, stresses that finding a highly potent variety wasn't his aim. I got lucky, he says. Cultivators are using genetic sequencing of cultivating wait, see, as hybridizing cultivars from even more distant lineages to hunt for improvements, plus sheer aesthetic novelty, technological advancements have allowed for fungi cells to become more easily be manipulated during breeding and developmental and chromatographic potency testing enables growers to dial in what alteration methods result in stronger mushrooms, which can be sold to consumer at prices in excess of $10 per gram more. The arrival of such methods means the era of amateur bro science and psychedelic mycology is over. Matucci says the age of uniform tinkering and anecdote-driven science is given away to cultivation driven by deeper and more complex scientific and mycological knowledge. This is only the beginning of super strength potencies, Matucci says, and is be pretty insane over the next decade. Holy cow!
Wow, that's something. One group that may stand to benefit are people who experience gastrointestinal issues from mushrooms, says Sam Gandy, an ecologist and independent psychedelics researcher who is conducting a survey on variable psychedelic effects attributed to different varieties. Gandhi notes that some people suffer unpleasant physical sensation known as body load issues when ingesting psilocybin mushrooms, particularly P. cubensis. But testimonials suggest this variety with species and generally the more potent species seem to be smoother on the body, he says. At present, it isn't altogether clear why this is the case, but the more rapid release of psilocybin from less fungi matter may be something to do with it. Others reported better subjective quality of experience with higher strength mushrooms, Gandy adds. However, increasing the availability of such super strong mushrooms coupled with a relative deficit of safe dosing instructions could lead people to accidentally consume more than they had intended, raising the risk of distressing trips. 3.5 grams when I was growing up was considered what you needed to do a trip. Reggie Harris, founder of Hyphae Lab, a potency testing laboratory, told the Hyphae Leaks podcaster last year. Now, 0.7 grams is a full trip. Imagine if I'm running around here thinking that 3.5 grams of Penululius bisporus is a full trip. You're going to see God. Wow. Wow.
The Pinnaclolis genus of psilocybin mushrooms is one of the several lesser known taxonomic. Ooh, what's that? Okay, taxonomic categories that are being explored as part of this cultivation trend. Some mushrooms of this type are generally much stronger than those most well known family, the psilocybe genus, which contains more notorious varieties as golden teachers, a type of P. cubanus, P. seminolecita, aka Liberty caps, which can be found in the northern hemisphere during autumn. The exploration of analysis potential is only just beginning. We expect to see the potency improve fourfold in cultivation, similarly to cubensis, and work is currently underway, says Matucci. Wow, dude, look at those mushrooms.
Those are pretty.
Wow. Let
Yeah.
us know about let us know about 2022.
In 2022, Gordo Tech, an underground mycologist based in the U.S. Northeast, who goes by this pseudonym due to the illegality of his work and his desire to minimize hate mail, was searching for some little known but particularly potent varieties of psilocybin mushrooms. He spoke to a collector of exotic species, known only as VL Center Coast, who had recently procured spores with a cultivar from the British Virgin Islands, had a suspicion that the variety, which had been named TTBVI after the tamarind tree under which it is said to have grown when it was discovered. It was strong, and he was curious to have the mushrooms checked out. It germinated fast, and right from the get go, I felt this is going to be interesting, Gordo Tech recalls. It has since won 7 competitions for the most potent mushroom in the known world. In one leading psilocybin potency contest, the TTBVIs contain more than 5% of the psychedelic alkaloids, making them stronger than any known mushroom. Gordo Tech has created a dosing calculator to help increase awareness about how much of each mushroom variety is required for certain types of trips. Somebody could easily take too much, he says. I try to go overboard in communicating. Don't ever take more than a gram of this. Still, people contacting him saying they took 2 grams and had a traumatic trip as a result. I don't know why people feel the need to overdo it, he adds. I'm always warning people, so I don't feel like I bear too much responsibility, but I do feel bad for anyone who accidentally takes too much.
The advent of these psilocybin cups, following in the footsteps of cannabis cups, which rate in potency, smell, taste, and all sorts of measurables, is, however, regarded as victors of the race create or procure unprecedentedly potent mushrooms. Most competitions occur privately without any festivities, but events like Colorado Psychedelic Cup are steadily happening in the open. The increasing popularity of mushrooms is buttressing a sense of one-upmanship, where people always want a potent strain. And that's what we saw with cannabis, says mushroom industry commentator Dennis Walker. The underground dispensaries and online vendors that are experiencing record levels of demand from the consumers and do usually offer a wide slate of mushrooms. But drugs journalists David Hillia says that he was noticed a decrease in the availability of middle ground mushrooms, such as golden teachers on Telegram marketplaces all over the last 6 months. It's been mostly albino penis envy and Jedi mindfuck, which are highly potent strains. And there's a big drop off to the low strength strains like Cambodians, he said. Perhaps the market is now geared toward more experienced psychedelic. There may be also be a financial imperative to buy stronger strains. So as this could give you more trips. Yoshi Yamato, the mushroom owner, genetic supplier, Dino Sports, says that hardly anyone is interested in growing generic cubanensis. The majority of people appear to be primarily interested in albino mushrooms and varieties that turn blue, which occur when they are missing, or stuff that's very high, he says. Wow.
Yeah, methods to enhance the potency of mushrooms using gene editing technology have been the subject to a patent application by at least one biotech company, Intima Science. In some cases, the genetically modified fungi or other organisms comprise up to 400% more psilocybin measured by dry weight of a fungus compared to a comparable control without genetic modification, the document says. Mushroom cultivator John Workman, the head of research at Sporeworks, which sells rare spores, created the albino penis envy strain, which was previously considered by many as the strongest psilocybin mushroom in common usage. He says that there must be an upper limit on total psilocybin and psilocin and biocysteine, respectively, the main and lesser known psychedelic alkaloid within mushroom content that a mushroom can produce. But I'm not sure what that would be, maybe 10%. It is therefore easy to envision a future in which magic mushrooms could have been consumed in such small could have to be consumed in such small dosage that even slight deviations away from the desired amounts might bring about extremely challenging trips. It would seem ironic if the success of the psychedelic movement in mainstreaming psychedelics had the inadvertent effect of making mushrooms too psychedelic. Maybe we're missing the point. If we're just trying to create a stronger and stronger mushroom experience by measuring the psilocybin content, says Walker, the real value is in the ceremony and the ability to communicate with the mushroom itself.
This was a really well written article. Very in depth. I'm quite impressed with it. Really.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff they're doing to try and increase the potency, which, I mean, great, but I mean, you can only make them so strong before, again, you're running the risk of like serious traumatic trips for some people. I don't know how I feel about that. Again, when you start messing with nature, you're taking away, in my opinion, the value of that plant therapy, right? It grows that way for a reason. And when you start genetically altering anything, even our produce, in my opinion, you're messing with things that you don't know enough about.
Well, I do like that to make it stronger. I mean, as a lover of maker things, that was written by Matt Busby.
Okay, that's who wrote that.
Yeah. But yeah, as a maker of things, I feel we can increase and make things better for that reason that they said right there. Mushrooms are expensive. You can make it last longer. You don't have to have the whole come to Jesus experience. I mean,
Right.
the whole reason of making it stronger is so you can have a little tiny bit. I mean, that's why I would do it.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, for that average home grower who's growing a really strong strain, doesn't have a lot of room, they would be able to grow more long-term supply in a shorter growing, right? Like it wouldn't have to grow as many tubs to meet their needs because they only need a fraction of that.
Well, and I feel if any cultivar, regardless psychedelics or cannabis, anyone that tries to make anything better than what an industry is doing, I say kudos for you for trying to make quality meds.
Yep.
And speaking about meds, it's medication time.
That's right. It's time to pay some bills. So stay tuned for a word from some of our sponsors, and then we'll return with more articles Bufo has chosen making mainstream media news.
Back in 4 minutes, 20 seconds, here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network.
Discover the treasure trove of flavors at Miss Jolly's Munchie Factory. Satisfy your cravings with our award-winning treats. Follow us on Instagram at Captain Rogers 705. Let Miss Jolly's Munchie Factory lift your spirits. Experience the comforting embrace of our freshly prepared soups and infused cornbread.
Hi, my name is John Mark, aka Sublimator Warrior, and I would like to welcome you to Smoke Signal in Tyndinaga.
One dab make your whole dome drip sweat. One dab make the homies all dip set. One dab, only really need one dab. One dab.
Smoke Signal is a medical dispensary where you can get all your products and needs.
Start vaping a whole bunch. Might just start laying up the blunts. God. Ooey, ooey, gooey, that's a sticky dab. Sticky dab. Might just have to put this one on Instagram. Go and hold it in, feel it in your ribs.
So come and check us out in Tyndinaga. 55 Highway 49 in Tyndinaga. It's on the res, and we're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week.
Tune in daily to NOK Network's diverse podcasting lineup. Ganja News Update, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Tara Simpson and Ron McNabb. Waking Up with the Wayniac, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific with Wayne Cruz from sunny California. Grow 420, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern with Ron McNabb. Psychedelic Reporters, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Hobbies Puppets and Tara Simpson. Peace, News and Views, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Sir Stevo and Kim Cooper. Thursdays we have Open Your Eye with Kim Cooper and Tara Simpson, 8 p.m. Eastern. Followed by Thursday Night Vibes at 9:15 p.m. Eastern with Master and Mama Rochi. The IWK 710 Daily Sesh airs 7 nights a week with our rotating joint hosts, nightly at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning in to all the podcasting on NOK Network.
Join us for NOK Network monthly specials, 12 months a year. Movie nights. Spotlights on entertainment. And live on location coverage. Stay up to date about upcoming programming by subscribing to NOK Network on Rumble, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Twitch, and Facebook. Check out our webpage at www.noknetwork.com.
Advertising space available at NOK. Contact us for a rate sheet at NOKNetwork.com.
Hey, dudes and dudettes. Enjoy the show, man.
And we're back from our medication session live here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network.
Well, we have another set of stories coming at you from the realm of psychedelic medicine. So let's get at it. This next article is a really close article, huh? You and Kim actually have some relationship with this, and this came out of Vice, Vice.com. American neo-shamans are running psychedelic hotels in Costa Rica, and someone died. In August, Lauren Levi lost her life at the Soul Central Retreat. Here isn't the only death linked to a cast of characters toying with Iboga, an African root bark offering one of the wildest drug experiences known to man. And this is written by Matt Hub Busby. Wow.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting article because, again, Kim and I, we do Open Your Eye together, and we have actually interviewed numerous iboga facilitators from different organizations. Patrick Fishley and his wife are some of them. And we have also actually interviewed the couple that owns this particular retreat a while back, but not anything recent. And that being said, we here at NOK and within the psychedelic community take safety very seriously. And we hope that others are doing the same and making the right decisions for those clients based on their personal issues and personal health background, which is so important with a drug like iboga. And that's something that the Fishleys are very, very informative about, and having a background in healthcare themselves, they take extremely seriously because they know that this could potentially happen. So we'll get started on this article. And this article was just written. So in October of 2023, Lauren Levis arrived for the first time at Soul Centro, a simple yet sprawling 15-room psychedelic retreat in the northwest of Costa Rica to take iboga. It's not a drug made for parties or disclothics. Derived from a South African root bark, iboga is so intense it's known as the Mount Everest of psychedelics. Iboga users, who typically cannot stand up for hours after the effects kick in, report being taken on a white-knuckle ride in which they rewatch all the traumas in their lives as if they were a fly on the wall in their own bioptic. That is to say, it can provide one of the most intense psychedelic experiences on Earth. Those like Lauren, who seek iboga desperately, want to feel better in their bodies and minds. And the Westerners who lead iboga ceremonies have often shaken off serious addictions to take the holy route. Like one half of Soul Centro's founding couple, Chor Bogi, who a well-known spray paint artist with a large tattoo on his adopted name on his back. When Lauren arrived at the retreat center, she was greeted by Boogie and his wife Elizabeth Bast, a former tantric sex worker who wrote a book about how she persuaded her husband to take iboga a decade ago to overcome his heroin addiction. One thing more than anything else made Lauren uncomfortable, she said, was remarkably the only person on one thing more than anything else made Lauren uncomfortable. She was remarkably the only person on the retreat. In all 3 of the 5 planned ceremonies she was able to endure, she threw up dozens of times, and it did not go well on the medicine. According to her brother Arthur Levis, she ended up leaving halfway through the course of treatment and attempted to recoup some more than $7,000 she had paid. The only recourse that Soul Centro offered her was a credit that had to be used within a year to come back to the retreat and participate again, Arthur says. She had previously suffered from addictions to drugs and depression, but had turned her life around, obtaining a double master's degree in 2022 and working as a social worker in her native Mexico. Still, Lauren worried about lingering addictive tendencies and also lived with a chronic pain condition for which she took medication. She wanted to experience the deep healing that Soul Centro promised and the benefits eulogized by many of those who have scaled the Iboga mountain.
That's why, in August this year, Lauren cashed in her credits. The 40-year-old returned to Stowe Central for a female only retreat attended by a dozen women. She provided a heart scan in advance to proving her cardiovascular health was in decent shape. Something so Central requests routinely due to the risk of taking iboga, which can slow down the heart rate. The retreat also runs its medical and psychiatric tests. The advises guests on what medicines like long-acting opioids can clash dangerously with iboga. When Lauren came to Iboga for a second time, Boogie was given a gabar, the homeland of the psychedelic plant, where the indigenous Bwiti spiritual tradition uses it in religious practices. Boogie, 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 boogie. Is it
Boogie.
boogie or boogie? Boogie has another tattoo on his neck, said Believe the Jedi. Boss said, behind to lead the retreat and care for the 3-year-old son. Little did Lauren know if she had let her credits expire, she might be alive today. During the first all night ceremony on August 4th, Lauren began to sweat profusely and became agitated, apparently due to hydration, and requested an IV drip, according to attendees who spoke on condition of anonymity. She said everyone is spinning, Sophie recalled, adding that when the retreat doctor did arrive to treat Lawrence just before dawn, a vein for the IV could not be found. Wow.
Wow is right. There was no 911 call at that point. Instead, according to Soul Centro attendees, Naomi, a staff tried to cool Lauren with a shower in her room. This is when she had a heart attack and emergency support was called for. Lauren received CPR and an ambulance arrived a half hour later. Ultimately, though, the efforts were unsuccessful. Naomi said that Lauren died on Monday, August 5th, in her Soul Centro hotel room. You might think that Soul Central management would have sought to be totally transparent with their guests, yet according to two attendees who spoke to Vice, Bass told them Lauren was stable in hospital. Lauren's family said that Bass did not immediately tell them about her death either, beyond sending an initial message to Lauren's partner to confirm she was the emergency contact and asking her to call. Lauren's partner's name is Juno Cicerenos. On the morning of August 5th, she called Bass after receiving an email out of the blue, but Soul Centro founder didn't pick up all day. Naturally, Juno became extremely distressed. The next day, she sent Bast an email which read, I am worried sick and this is an unacceptable line of communication. I need to know what's going on immediately. No more emails or texts. Someone must call me in the next 30 minutes or I will call the authorities. At the same time, the Levis family began to do their own frenzied detective work, contacting local hospitals, morgues, and police, as well as accessing Lauren's iCloud and messaging a new contact she had made on the retreat. Bast replied shortly after, "Thank you for your responsiveness. There has been a lot happening here to tend to." She introduced Juno to colleagues and a lawyer acting on behalf of Soul Central. After receiving Bass' initial email, Juno called and texted 40 plus times the entire day into the next morning, she recalls. Because I had not gotten a response, I called the police to make a missing persons report. And that's how I found out that she had passed 29 hours after the fact. Elizabeth Bass didn't have the decency to communicate her death with me until August 24th. Lauren is the love and light of my life, and I miss her terribly. Wow.
She was the emergency contact as well.
Yeah.
On August 6th, Costa Rican police informed Lauren's family that she had died. 3 days later, in what was the first substantive communication between Soul Central's lawyer and the family. The representative is alleged to have falsely suggested during a Zoom call that Lauren had not participated in a ceremony. They denied that Lauren had even participated in the Iboga ceremony, claims Juno. The lawyer then checked the Soul Central website and accepted that Laura had consumed Iboga. It was as if he was checking to see what we knew. Another member of Levis' family said, "Oh wow, look at that! It's is that the Iboga, or is that
Yes.
just
Yeah.
okay?" Students so Sancho were receiving serious heat via their social media channels and Reddit. Damn right. They promptly deactivated their Facebook and Instagram accounts where they had regularly touted the powers of the dream inducing psychedelic. The deadly incident didn't stop them organizing another retreat later that same month. Two people in the psychedelic community told Vice. On August 19th, Bast eventually made contact with the Levises, and I would like to offer my deepest condolences to you and your family and to Juno for the loss of Lauren, she said in a voice note shared with Vice. I cared for Lauren immensely through our time together. I deeply apologize for the time it has taken to come back. I wanted to connect right away, and my team strongly urged to wait and have discussions. Let me respond in the most thoughtful way. Wow. Yeah, so they had to cover their ass, is what she was saying.
Well, that's kind of what it sounded like, eh? Um, just saying. Then the Costa Rican press got wind of what happened. On August 25th, the country's leading newspaper, La Notion, ran a front page article reporting the details of Lauren's death and revealing that many psychedelic retreats in Costa Rica aimed at treating drug addiction were operating without official authorization. Though it did not name Soul Centro as one of these organizations, there are an estimated 1,000 psychedelic retreats in Costa Rica where psychedelics are unregulated. Bast and Boogie said that because they are in a sensitive phase of an ongoing investigation, there are legal limits on what they can say publicly. However, they did offer the following. As facilitators and human beings who are deeply committed to healing and transformation, the passing of this sacred soul has profoundly shaken us, filling us with deep sorrow. We offer our prayers and deepest condolences to the family during this time. More cryptically, Boogie recently shared an image on his Facebook with the caption, "Here's the thing about spirits. We don't let a silly thing like death get in our way." It's unclear what he was referring to. Bast also apologized to the attendees in an email on August 29th for not being transparent with you in that moment when denying that Lauren had died, despite being asked directly. This was a great challenge and completely unprecedented territory for me as a space holder, she wrote. I was devastated about Lauren while caring for all the women in the most delicate state, all while I had to interface with local authorities. Bass said that she had not told attendees because they were in a profoundly delicate state after staying up all night taking Iboga. Some of the participants were psychedelic first-timers, she added. When people are coming out of this experience with the holy root, it can be some of the most sensitive psychological, emotional, and spiritual spaces they will ever be in their life, and very neuroplastic. I felt that I needed to give them some time to get home safely and to ground.
Wow. That's She conceded, however, that her attorneys had strictly forbade her from speaking to the Levis family and said they would intervene on her behalf. They also said that I risked anything I said being misinterpreted in the wrong way, even if we had done everything right in terms of medical program. Bass wrote. They also warned me that our small child potentially being taken into the government custody when I had no family here at the time. I was extremely scared and intimidated in retrospect. I should have listened to my heart, even at my own risk, and I talked with the family immediately. Uh, Levis's have, however, began further agreed that allegations that Lauren had taken drugs other than iboga at or just before the retreat. So what if she smokes pot? They're like gonna say they're not responsible.
Yeah.
On September 3, an acquaintance of Bass released a message attributed to her in the Area WhatsApp group. In it, Bass appeared without supporting evidence that Levis had taken substances other than the sacred medicine, according to a screenshot seen by Vice. Sophie says that attendees were not searched for drugs that could be contradicted with Ebola upon their arrival, but they were asked to hand over any such substance and signed a waiver acknowledging the risks of taking the psychedelic. I texted Lori and asked her if she was okay on Tuesday before I left the retreat, but didn't find out she had died until Thursday when her family contacted me, says Sophie. I was livid. Uh, in Costa Rica, scrutiny of Soul Central and the wider psychedelic industry is not going away. On September 13th, La Nacion reported a critical announcement that the death of Bente Soberg, a 41-year-old Norwegian woman who had a heart attack at a bogus house center after consuming the drug back in 2014. This retreat was founded by Patrick McCullough and Ganda, a Gabonese psychedelic guide. Confusingly, goes by the alias and there are claims that he was the first to bring iboga to the West. Michaela says he was not present for the ceremony that led to Silberg's death in 2014, the same year he helped Soul Central co-founder Short Boogie kick heroin. In the aftermath, iboga House and Michaela parted company from the Americas they had previously worked with, who rebranded as Rhythmia Life Advancement Center and began serving ayahuasca, so explicitly promising their guests miracles. Famous Remia guests have included Scott Disick, the boxer Denny Wilder, musician and rapper Andre 3000, and comedian Ron White. The Retreat Center, which was subject to lengthy bison investigation in 2022, is now constructing its own miniature town, 2 bedrooms housing starting at $600,000. One organization leader told me last year. Wow.
Wow, eh? Unwilling to give up the iboga dream, Chor Boogie and Elizabeth Bast found a new teacher named Biana visiting Gabon several times to undergo training with the Bwiti tradition. It was there that Boogie was given the name Guyanogo, Medicine of the Sun, before returning to the U.S. to administer the promising yet perilous psychedelic in Airbnbs prior to Soul Central Retreat opening in 2022. Despite Boogie's visits to Africa's west coast, his practice raised eyebrows. In our village, a drug addict would need 5 to 10 years reformation, providing they can live in a monastic way of life before serving iboga, says one iboga facilitator initiated into the Bwiti tradition and who lives in Gabon part of the year. When you're walking with Bwiti, you cannot have a dual life. Core Boogie's an artist with kids who needs money and who wants to hang in San Teresa, a fashionable area of Costa Rica. I attended Soul Centro Center shortly after its summer 2022 opening, thanks to an invitation from Elizabeth Bast as part of an article for Vice. If I had not been at the retreat, the other participant would have been alone, like Lauren during her first visit in 2023. Boogie, who uses the word motherfucker liberally, was dressed as an indigenous medicine man and played incessantly up-tempoed tribal music from a sound system in the room with an aluminum roof he called the temple. I ate chunks of bitter iboga root mixed with honey and was soon so overwhelmed I had to lay down. After gazing into the universe for several hours and being given further doses of iboga derivative, Boogie took me on a soul journey during which I connected with my late aunt before throwing up and experiencing a state of extended bliss that had enduring effects. A previous Soul Centro attendee, Fletcher Burdick, told me his iboga trip finally helped him get sober after years of on and off addiction that led him to the brink of death. The medicine carried out a total mental detox on my brain and decluttered it all. He said, for the first time, I felt peace and calm. Still, I was concerned by the tempestuous relationship Boogie seemed to share with Bast. Although Boogie was more sanguine between sessions when he was playing what seemed to be a cherished mouth harp instrument.
Not that he was there when the participants on Lauren's second retreat gathered the morning after the fatal ceremony. There were, however, at least 8 police officers across the center collecting evidence and interviewing staff, Naomi and Sophie said. It's not clear what Bassett told police about Lauren, but on August 24th, she finally met with Lauren's family, joining her lawyers on a Zoom call to confirm what they already knew. I was asking the lawyers right to their faces, why did you create this whole life that she wasn't at a ceremonial retreat? Her brother tells Spice. How can you say that to me, knowing that I know she was at an Iboga retreat? The name of the place is Soul Central Iboga Retreat. If we had gotten her phone information, we wouldn't have had any witnesses. Lauren's family are now awaiting the outcome of a postmortem toxicology report that could shed further light on her death. We all grieve their senseless loss and collectively grapple with learning the truth behind the circumstances which led her charismatic smile and vibrant spirit away from us too soon. Her family said in a post advertising her memorial service. Boogie and Bass will face further questions, and Costa Rica law enforcement continuing to investigate, though the family say they do not intend to launch a wrongful death lawsuit. Whoa. It is unclear whether Bass or Boogie will continue to work in the psychedelic world. But whispers, their trips to Gabon have traveled around parts of the psychedelic community. Boogie leads groups of peoples to begin an initiative into the Boogie tradition, a grilling process that involves a 3-day ritual with little sleep and lots of iboga. It was a very challenging experience, Mike, an attendee of the Getaways tells Mike. It was not one where I felt like really supported or held in any way. If you're paying well over $10,000 for people to guide you through an experience in an African village, I did not feel guided at all. It was a weird vibe. Another participant had a manic episode, Mike said, and becoming intimate with a Gabonese lady initiate who took her to her hotel in the capital, Libreville. Wow.
Yeah. As much as it seems to offer unlikely respite from stubborn mental health conditions and addiction, controversy also tends to follow iboga and its derivative, ibogaine. 33 deaths related to ibogaine have been reported publicly since 2020, according to a 2021 study. And in August, Rolling Stone, in partnership with Double Blind, reported on the death of a 49-year-old man at an upscale ibogaine clinic in Mexico. But experts suspect the true figure of total deaths, especially in the number of people who have died from iboga added on, could be at least twice that. Still, it would be a fraction of people who have taken psychedelics, with more than 10,000 globally thought to have used ibogaine alone. It's it's clearly a risk worth taking for many. Anecdotal accounts like verdicts and small studies demonstrate that ibogaine and iboga deliver effective interruptions of drug withdrawal symptoms. This medicine seems like it could really be a potential help for people, says Arthur Levis, we are curious if Lauren was on anything that could be contradicted to taking iboga in any form. If that was the case, of course, it's on her for not following the protocols. But she seemed to be taking it very seriously leading into her trip. The circumstances around Lauren's death and the messy aftermath have cast shadow over Costa Rica's rapidly expanding world of unregulated psychedelic retreats. The question remains, are these centers truly equipped to initiate people with serious mental health issues into the murky realms of such powerful medicine? And that is the question, right? Protocols. And, both the patient and the facilities have to take protocols so seriously.
Well, they even said, and I love recovery and everything, but they say that even when you're on a path of recovery yourself, to take other students or people while you're learning yourself isn't always a good thing. And in the story, it almost seems like as this guy was learning himself, he wanted to make the money and have the retreat and share the thing. Which, I mean, a lot of people want to do it, but there's risk. You can't just open up a retreat obligation or whatnot. And how many deaths is the U.S. going to let in other countries before they say, hey, let's make a retreat so people stop dying in other countries to take this fucking drug?
Yeah. Again, I mean, because it's so unregulated in so many places, I get what people are trying to do, and I get that people are trying to help people. And I mean, someone has to lead that charge. But I really feel like maybe in this case, maybe something was missed, right? And maybe there wasn't. I don't know. But due diligence is so important, right down to they should have probably run their own tests. Maybe patients should be searched for potential drugs that they may be coming in. I mean, you are treating people with drug addictions, or in her case, she was a pain patient. She could have been on something and was supposed to be off of it. But again, that falls on the retreat to be making sure they're doing their due diligence, right? And again, could medical intervention have been quicker? I don't know. I wasn't there. But maybe this is something that should be done in a more facility-like setting with those medical interventions on hand, not a half-hour ride away or, a 3-hour, call and finally the ambulance shows up, as we know can happen in some countries, right? So I don't know. Maybe some more protocols and discussion needs to happen in this psychedelic realm between all these facilitators and come up with a standard way of doing things to try and prevent this from happening again.
Right. Like instead of having a medical responder on grounds, that sounds like it took a long time. What if I had a medical responder and that medical responder was also a doctor? Could that have prevented the death?
Exactly.
Like it's
having a doctor on site during this type of medicine is probably something that they need to have. I mean, due diligence in testing, great. They did that. They required the heart scan to make sure her heart was healthy. But again, these sorts of things, knowing that, patients can become dehydrated because of the process, not having these crucial things on hand and medical intervention on hand, on site, in case there's a medical emergency, maybe that's something they need to examine.
Right. And hey, you know what? Thank you for joining us here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network. It's about that time, and for tuning in to our video podcast and on NOK Network Rumble on YouTube pages as well. as other social media sites.
That's right. We really hope you've enjoyed your update today on mainstream media coverage of psychedelic advancements from around the globe.
Many thanks to my beautiful host, Tara Simpson, to our sponsor, and to Bufu of Various for choosing the stories, and to you, our listeners, for joining each week on Psychedelic Tuesday. Let's hear Dead Ringer again from Kirkland Lake on our way out. Good night.
I'm looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of